Hi there. I think it's shocking to see how quickly the new rules in financing politicians are having an effect, and the effect is that lawmaking becomes a for-profit business, and of course the most profitable laws, the best investment in changing laws, will take precedence, and because the representatives no longer represent the people, but only represent themselves. Because otherwise they won't be elected because they need the funds. These things are going to hurt society a lot, because they're going to simply make progressively change the legal structure such that siphoning off wealth from the community into the hands of a few becomes more and more easy and stays legal, or becomes legal. There's the example of Mr. Balmer that lobbied for about $400,000. Invested it in local politics, and I'll link to it next to this video, the article. But his profit from the tax break that he gets as a result is in the billions. You see, and if you can, you can basically go through any proposal that might not, get the attention of the people, or you can basically look into areas and politicians that are vulnerable to funding, but do have legal, let's say, can introduce a law that saves you more money than it costs to introduce it, and you're in business. You could almost start a legal office somewhere that keeps track of which laws should be introduced with what profitability, who wants to be the champion of that law, so who will get the money. And the end result is that you simply have a fascist state. The end result will be that the wealth of the people will be depleted, because like everything else that businesses deplete, they don't consider themselves responsible for the aftermath of whatever they do in terms of business. They're about robbing and killing. Killing fish, killing cows, killing trees, killing whatever they find, or robbing it, stealing it, getting it away from people that don't understand the value of what they have. Or, and now through the law, legally dispossessing people, because people with money can make the laws, and the people without money have to bear the brunt of a corrupt legal system, or a corrupted legal system. And the only logical action eventually is that people dismiss law and dismiss the legal structure, because they otherwise cannot survive, which means a breakdown of the legal system. So I guess the legal system should realize that its lawmakers, if the lawmakers are corruptible, then you have a hole the size of let's say Manhattan in your system, which a hole the size of Wall Street in your legal system, because you're gonna have to enforce, as a legal system, as judge, you're going to have to enforce laws that are simply destructive and disruptive, and reduce the coherence in society. And you might make a calculation, and that might be going on, that these lawyers and judges, they make the calculation, well, if we introduce a law that will make it very hard to keep acting normal and decent in society, then as a result we will have more court cases and we will make more money. That might be going on in the heads of some of these people. One of the most shocking things is, I believe it's already happened, but a decision to ban class action lawsuits. That's a severe setback for a citizen who expects justice and has and will now find that he has to go to court every time for every case. For instance, in the case of the cigarettes, or in the case of climate change, you have to go to court in every case as an individual, and you cannot unite, so you have the legal fees. So let's say it's going to be, that's just making it harder to do anything. Now I talked about it with somebody, and the strategy is basically to always fragment resistance. And how do you, if you are a huge company that does something that's illegal, sells drugs or medicine that are lethal, or sells cigarettes, or pollutes the atmosphere and kills the earth, do those kind of things, and you expect resistance from the public, from the wider public, then first thing you can do is to abolish class action lawsuits, so they cannot unite and form a block, but have to go to court individually, which is way more expensive and basically can never, because of the time that it takes for cases to be served, can never amount to serious pressure. So while if you want something, you go to you bribe your congressman, you go to Washington, and you introduce a law of 5,000 pages that you can then accuse everybody of not having read, because it's basically a bunch of garbling. But in the middle of there, somewhere it says, I now have the right to confiscate all gold of all Americans. And the way that Bush did it was that, in the extreme case of a world war and nuclear attack on the US, we have the right to confiscate all gold. That was the law that he introduces. And then a few months later he introduced, the extreme case of nuclear warfare and etc. can also be, because of, a truck collision in Memphis. And then a few months later he says, of course a truck collision in Memphis is as dangerous as me dropping my paperclip on the ground. And only I, President, have the right to drop my paperclip on the ground or decide when I have done that. So just you change the law in parts, but you create a route for a decision. That is then automatic, and the judges have to make a choice. Either we keep the legal system working with the benefits for the people that we care about, and as a judge, you have this conscious decision to make. And as a result, we have also to allow our president dropping his paperclip and therefore confiscating all the gold of everybody. Or we do away with everything and we have civil war. That's ultimately the result. I think it's pretty serious. Anyway, thanks for listening, and I hope you're doing well.